It's Monday, the 12th of December. It's 8:45 p.m. and this is the Cats Whiskers podcast live. Hello and welcome to tonight's edition of the Cats Whiskers podcast. My name is Jono Bullard. We're going to be looking back on a stunning 8-0 victory for the Panthers in Cardiff on Saturday, followed by a 6-5 penalty shot victory over the Coventry Blaze on Sunday. We've got some of your tweets. We'll be talking about Panthers' new Christmas shirts, the rest of the Elite League results and news, and also looking ahead to the Braehead Challenge Cup quarter-final second leg on Wednesday. With me to talk about all that are Tina Taylor.
Hiya.
Aaron Lord.
Hiya.
Bitch.
And Paul Balm.
Hiya.
I hate you all.
Yeah.
That's the credentials set out for the rest of the show, isn't it? On Evening Ant as well.
Yeah, he'll be listening even into Antoine Marichon. I hope we'll be listening. If you want to get in touch with us tonight or during the show about anything we talk about, you can do on Twitter. It's at CatsWhiskersTV and use the hashtag TCW Live. But first, we will go back to Saturday night and an incredible win for the Nottingham Panthers. 8-0 at the league-leading Cardiff Devils. Just 51 seconds are gone when Brian McGrattan scored his first domestic goal for the club to make it 1-0. Quickly followed by a double from Stephen Schultz to make it 3-0 after just 5 minutes. A short-handed goal by Andy Sertic and Dan Spang just 26 seconds from the end of the first period made it a 5-0 period for the Panthers. 2 more goals in the second period from Matt Carter and Brad Moran, followed by a 8th in the third period by Jeff Brown with 1 minute and 21 seconds left, meant an 8-0 victory. I think it surprised every single one of us, and well, Paul, I'll start with you. Just a stunning result.
Well, on any number of levels, really. Like I say, I don't think any of us saw it coming. I think we're more like to thought it was going to be 8-0 the other way. I mean, after the debacle in Sheffield, but I mean, I'll hold my hands up. All I've seen is the highlights, and I mean, there were some great goals, but I mean, looking at those highlights, I think. It must be. There's a good 3 or 4 of those goals were scored because somebody was screening the keeper. I mean, okay, I think our 6th, the person screening the keeper was Doucette, and a very good job he did of it as well. But screening the keeper, you take his eyes away, you can't see. So you're helping yourself. You just wonder. And then last night, I don't want to be getting ahead of ourselves here, but last night. We weren't screening the keeper. We didn't do as well.
Well, we did. We did for the first goal.
Yeah, but how much more for the rest of the time did we do it then?
Yeah, true. Yeah. But,
all right.
Okay, Aaron. Again, you was another one who didn't see any of the game, like myself, like Paul, but you was probably as shocked as both of us when you saw that result.
Yeah, I thought we'd win. I tweeted saying that I thought we'd win, but I didn't think we'd win by 8-0. Keeping it up on Twitter because I was out on Saturday. Just amazing, really. Yeah, didn't see it coming, and I think Paul just made a really, really good point about the fact that we did screen both Bounds and Murdy.
And Bounds and the Murdy again.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Just obviously a very, very surprising but welcome result.
Very quickly, has anybody ever seen that where there's been a double lift where actually both netminders have had 2 spells in the net?
I don't think so at all. I've seen the backup go back in the number one go back in because the backup let in about 4 goals on about 7 shots.
No, I've seen it in the NHL. I seem to remember the Philadelphia Flyers had one hell of a goaltending merry-go-round. I could have been one playoff series, and they had a bit of a change around, and it got even worse for them because the following game they actually scratched one of the goalies and brought in somebody else, and they still had to swap. It was really bizarre. But yeah, I've never actually seen it in our league.
Mm. And at the other end, Mika Wietman, absolutely outstanding, saving 30 shots. And Tina, you watched the game on the webcast. Were the highlights fair to how the game went? Because it looked like it was complete domination by the Panthers in the first, and then it swapped around in the second and the third, and it was Mika Wietman's excellence that kept the shutout.
I don't think it was purely Mika, but I mean he was brilliant. He made some absolutely fantastic saves. He made a couple of saves that I just don't know how he did it, which it was brilliant to see him on form. But yeah, I would say it's probably a fair representation. The second period, Panthers did the sort of the thing I see them do a fair bit. The second period is the long change, and it just throws us. And but what a result! It's just absolutely bonkers. I mean, I missed the McGrattan goal live because I wasn't looking. I was busy getting a drink. I was in the kitchen. I was just like, we're never going to score this early, so all I'm going to miss is a Devils goal. And and I heard the Ice Time TV guys shouting goal, and I walked in and we've conceded. No, we haven't conceded already. Oh my God! And then double fortune. It's McGrattan's first domestic goal for the club, and it was pretty awesome. The hand-eye coordination was stunning. It was a goal worth waiting for, I think.
Yeah, a battered backhand out of mid-air, and Aaron, that's going to be a monkey off his back.
You would hope so, wouldn't you? Because obviously, I think he's waited a very long time to get his first goal in the league. Obviously, he scored goals in European competition, but I think he would have really wanted that one. And very, very good goal it was. Obviously, from Twitter, I didn't know that it was that type of goal. So when I watched the highlights, I was like, very nice. A very nice finish, similar to kind of what Matthew Waugh did at the NIC last season, I believe.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a little bit closer, but that kind of hand-eye coordination that Tina just mentioned, and he didn't really celebrate it in sort of an excitable manner, did he? But let's hope it is the monkey off his back, and there's a few more that he's got in his back pocket.
Hey, Paul, I was out on Saturday. I got in, saw the end of the first period. Score was 5-0, and I had to do a double take. I think I looked at the tweet 3 or 4 times before it actually sunk in that we were 5-0 up at the end of the first period. Was that similar with you?
Pretty much. I mean, I've got 2 excitable kids running up and downstairs telling me. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, it's odd really, because you should have been, or I should have been sort of euphoric after it, and I wouldn't say I was unhappy with it, but there's also a little bit of frustration, because where's that team been all this time? I mean, maybe it's because Cardiff weren't that great. I mean, every team has their off nights, but maybe that wasn't. Maybe that was just it. They had an off night. We had a really good night. I don't know, but when a team shows you what it can do and doesn't do that all the time, then that's frustrating.
I mean, Tina, as you say, you watched it. Could you quite believe what you were seeing?
No, don't be ridiculous. I was sat there just. I think the neighbours wondered what was going on, because I was like laughing like a lunatic. This is not happening. Surely this is not happening. We've been watching some absolutely dire performances. We've been treated to some really poor games, home and away, and then all of a sudden this team comes out and does that. And like Paul says, where's that been all season? It's don't get me wrong. I'm still I still want to, feel the buzz of the 4-point weekend. But and it's fantastic that we've got some points on the board. But it is really annoying. That's the same team we've been watching, and they've been awful. And now they pull out a performance like that. I mean, just to sort of put it out there, and the guys on Icetime TV, they touched on it quite a lot. It was a bit worrying for as if you're a Cardiff fan, watching that team just collapse. I mean, for me, my personal view, I think there may have been some complacency on the Cardiff Devils team. They know we've had a bad run, and I think they expected that bad run to continue. So when we actually came out at them, they didn't know what to do. And before, when they sort of realised, oh heck, hang on, we've actually got a game we need to turn up for here, they're already 3-0 down. And it was good to see the Panthers go out there and play a game. But yeah, where's it been? Why is it taking so long? It's December, for God's sake. We're nearly halfway through the season. Just why? I mean, the other thing, and I think I might have to let that go because I had another thing and it's gone. But yeah, why? Why is it taking so long? I mean, the only that was it. Yeah, the only other thing I can maybe attribute to that is maybe there's a certain amount of getting the lines right. Maybe the chemistry was just there because I was, we were seeing some combinations of lines that we've not really seen before. I mean, it could just be me because obviously I was on holiday for the last 2 games in November, so I didn't see those. But I can't remember seeing Lawrence, McGrattan, and Farmer on the same line in a game. So that was an interesting line. Because Farmer, if you really wanted to, with McGrattan, stood behind him like his big brother, he can get back to what he does. He can get back to Robert Farmer's game, which would be really good to see. And Brown and Carter looked like they were they were sort of gelling pretty well. And I mean that line was sort of being shared. The third member of that line was being shared between Lacko and Betteridge. So that was pretty good to see as well. So I mean, horror of horrors. Have we actually got the lines right? But potentially that is something we can attribute to it. I mean, now if that is the case, then please don't anybody get injured.
Yeah, I think you're asking a bit too much there.
I know. I just thought I'd put it out there just in case.
But talking about injuries and Farmer, don't you think that he's not been playing that normal sort of very sort of on the edge, confrontational, niggling style, because he knows he can't afford to take penalties because the team are short. And yeah, he's doing really well, I think, at the moment, but he's not playing his natural style, and that I think that's something that the team is missing. But because we've had the injuries, he's not been able to do it.
Okay. One other thing from that game, and it came from the Icetime TV webcast and an interview with Todd Kelman. I believe it was in the second interval where he described the Devils' performance as embarrassing, along with a lot more stronger language. I mean, Tina, you watched it and you've got some very strong opinions on this. Yeah.
I tweeted it at the time. Cardiff Devils, I'm going to put it out there right now. You are lucky to have a general manager who is 100% passionate and 0% bull. That he went on there. He was angry. He was frustrated. And I think in the first period break, the Icetime TV camera was sort of tracking where he was going. All the boys are going, well, there's Todd Kelman, and he's getting dangerously close to the locker room. Is he actually going to go in there and tear them a new one? Which it was possible. The look on his face was not one you want to mess with, really. And yeah, so when he did that interview, I was just sat there and I thought that is so refreshing. He's offended no one. He has spoke from the heart, essentially. Because he cares about that team. He's not just in it for the business. He's a hockey guy, and he wants to see the Cardiff Devils do well. And it was just so good to hear, somebody involved with the club getting angry, but not. And as I say, he didn't offend anybody. He told the truth, and he didn't try to put any kind of positive spin on it. He basically he went on, and that interview, the crux of that interview was, "This is not good enough." And that was it. End of. I mean, given the spin that we often have to listen to, it was just so nice just to hear somebody an official involved with the club just go, "This is embarrassing. This is not good enough, and I am not happy." It was so refreshing, and I mean, naughty word aside, because he did. I mean, you can just tell he just wasn't. He wasn't holding back. Naughty word aside, it was a great interview.
Fair enough. And we've had a tweet from Elaine Buck. She says, "How bad are we? After the first period in Cardiff, we were all saying, is 5 goals good enough to win? Maybe we need another couple just to be sure." Let's put the hashtag "we were not confident." Where have I heard that before?
It's like my son Joe said to me, we've scored 5 in one period. We know that Cardiff are just as capable of scoring 5 over 2 periods against us. So, yeah. But
taking nothing away, it's a stunning result, and I think that the Panthers, we've been pretty hard on them over the past couple of weeks. I think it's only fair that we go, you know what, that's a great result. Against a team that are 10 points clear at the top of the league, to go into their backyard and get an 8-0 victory, that's pretty stunning, wouldn't you say, Aaron?
Yep, I would, and I just kind of echo what you just said there. We on this podcast aren't afraid to criticise the team and even the organisation when it's not doing well, so we should applaud them when they do stuff right, and we should do that as a fan base as well. And that result, when you look at it, is just an amazing performance, and you have to say very well done to everybody involved. I think obviously Wickman will get sort of extra praise because I still think it could have been. I think Cardiff could have scored a few goals. Our D was still looking a bit suspect at times on the highlights. But overall, it's just an amazing, and it kind of tells, it's frustrating, as both Paul and Tina have said, but it does also show you that we have got that performance in us. So let's just see how many of those performances we see for the remainder of the season. But that alone, very, very well done.
Okay, we'll move on to Sunday, and Panthers taking on the Coventry Blaze at the NIC. Panthers coming away with a 6-5 penalty shot victory. 1 goal in the first period, Stephen Schultz with his 3rd of the weekend. In the second, it was a bit of a goal fest. Jordan Petrus and Davis making it 2-1 to Blaze before Steve Lee equalised. Matt Marquardt and TJ Siner making it 4-2 Blaze before Andy Sertic with a rocket just before the end of the period made it 4-3. Blaze was straight out of the traps in the third period, with Robinson making it 5-3 before 2 power play goals from Lawrence and Brown made it 5-all. Nicky Forrock scoring the winning penalty shot. So, Paul, Panthers twice down by 2 but come back to win. Does that show that the team does have a bit of character?
It probably does, but you needed that to come back like that. But by the same token, we didn't show much character in the second period. Well, the ease with which those goals were scored, and that one at the start of the third as well. That for as much as you say yes, they had character to do it, they really, really didn't help themselves.
I mean, what Tina, Aaron? I'll put the same question to you. Do you think it showed character, Tina?
I think Paul's probably got it spot on. Actually, I think this. Yes, it did show character, but at the same time, we've we've got defensive lapses. There were, I mean, especially the two, quick goals. I just saw them come in, and I just held my head in my hands, metaphorically speaking. It's like, we're shooting ourselves in the foot here. But we've got some tired defensemen. we've got defensemen racking up an awful lot of minutes. And I mean, one thing I will say is that Logan McMillan has played regular defensive shifts over this weekend, and I haven't been disappointed. I don't know what's changed. I really genuinely. He still looks a little bit uncomfortable being a defenseman, and his offensive instincts keep kicking in, and he keeps pinching in. And I think that was possibly part of the reason for us conceding like we did. I think we had, especially when we were down by 2 goals. There was a tendency for the defensemen to want to get in there and contribute and get a quick goal back. So I think we were getting caught a little bit too much. I think there was some defensemen just sort of forgetting their responsibilities. I mean, the Blaze have got some really quick players, so we really needed to just settle down in that respect, really. But yeah, I think the character was there, because the way. The run that we have had, it would have been so easy for the Panthers to just let the heads go down and leave it at that, and just let the Blaze walk away with it. Just carry the 2 points out of our building. And it would have put, it would have taken the shine off Saturday's result had we allowed them to do that. But we didn't. We came back, which you can't grumble. You can't grumble. I mean, If you score more than them, then you're taking the points home, which points are at a premium. Points are at a premium. So, and we've had a bad run. So let's just enjoy the points for the moment, and see what next week brings.
Yeah, Aaron.
I can't really add too much, but yeah, it does show character. I think it's interesting that obviously the coach praised tired minds, tired bodies, because like Tina just says, we have got some tired people out there on the ice. And look, the pressure was on us at the end of the day. We're at home in our own building in front of our own fans at a decent crowd again. Just come off a thumping win against Cardiff. They could have easily folded and just gone into their shell, but they didn't. And that shows character in my eyes. So, again, it's they should take a lot of positives from the 2 performances, because they're very different performances, but they've brought out the same end result. But there is still, there's still plenty of work left to do.
In a lot of ways, it was quite a strange game for a Coventry game. I mean, nobody hit Noble. All right, Liam Stewart had a few words with the crowd, and Brian Stewart didn't fall over.
Well, I must admit, we said it that I think this is the first time that I've seen Brian Stewart concede more than 3 at the NIC and not lose it. He was actually incredibly calm yesterday, I thought.
Oh, I was praying for a Stewie meltdown. I've not seen one for so long. I was really looking forward to it, and it just didn't come. I was so disappointed. I was upset. And, can I just, before I forget, can I just give a little quick mention to the little legend that is Alex Nikiforuk, who, when he scored his winning penalty shot, went past the Blaze bench doing a David Ling.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, telling him to be quiet.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh dear. We mentioned there was some very shoddy defending at times, and it was something I tweeted out yesterday. Is the absence of War and Dimon now starting to bite? They're 2 of our most influential defensemen. They take up a lot of minutes. They've been out for a while now. We've no idea when either of them are going to be back. Is it time that some replacements were brought in?
I think that time has passed. I think we should have done it some time ago. Surely the coaching staff have got an idea on their recovery and returns. So I'm tired of talking about it. They've been out for so long that it does warrant bringing somebody in. I mean, But the only thing with that, it just brings the whole discussion back to last season where we brought in Kyle Hardy and he was not the guy. He was not the right guy. So you have to get the right guy. I know how much you love him, Paul, but I'm sorry. He just didn't do it for me. You've got to get the right guy, but surely that there is a right guy available for you, and surely there has been somebody available that would fit into the Panthers organisation.
But Kyle Hardy
fit into a Corey Nielsen team, for the length of time that Warren Dimon have been out.
Yeah. Kyle Hardy aside, look how long it was until we brought in McDonald and Quick. Too long. And it just feels like we're in the same situation again. It's Groundhog Day.
I mean, obviously we've got Jason Williams coming in, who knows, sometime around Christmas. But I think, if anything, from yesterday's performance for me, it's the defence that desperately needs shoring up. I mean, Aaron, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it all hinges on when, the two Jeffs are going to be back in the lineup. I mean, I think Dimon has obviously started the season extremely well. I think when he got injured, he was either a top 3, top 5 points scorer in our team. I think I would hazard a guess and be quite confident that he's a first liner really this season for us. And Jeff Waugh is second line, and it is frustrating because I feel that we said at the start of the season that we had a very strong D, and we're having to eat our words a little bit now. I think that's partly because obviously injuries to two of those main defensemen hits you hard and puts extra pressure on the other defensemen. But we're still so lackadaisical in our own D, and it's just the Panthers, I think, for years now, we just don't clear our zone very well. It doesn't matter who we get in. I don't know whether it's obviously systems, etc., but we just don't clear the puck. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many times we actually ice it, because we just never even take those 15 seconds that potentially could be crucial, because the Spangs, the Lindhagens, even Logan McMillan, like Tina said earlier, now on D. It just feels that you can see tired minds and tired plays. So it's imperative that we get both Jeff Waugh and Dimon back as soon as possible. But how long's a piece of string? That could be. Well, who knows?
Well, the result takes Panthers up to 4th, which, after we was talking on last week's podcast about the possibility we could be in 8th or 9th place at the end of this weekend if it didn't go to plan. I'm quite happy with 4th place, to say the least. That puts us 4 points behind Sheffield, who have played 2 games less than us. Cardiff still top by 10 points from the new second place holders, Belfast Giants, but more on that later. A few tweets that we got in from fans regarding the weekend. Kenwyn Jones, who is a Cardiff fan, he said it before, Corey Nielsen knows how to shut us down and Wheatman seems to get in their heads, but your guys did turn up, as were very poor. David Spence says yesterday's struggle is a more accurate reflection of this team. I believe Saturday was a blip. So quick thoughts on that from all of you. Think that's fair?
I think that's very fair, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting 8-0 against the top of the table team, especially going into their place. I certainly. Well, I mean, I didn't even see the first goal coming because I was making a drink.
Aaron?
I can't agree with Spence just purely because it's Spence. So I'm going to disagree. But if it was from John Smith, then I would have to agree.
Fair enough, Spence. I'll leave that one with you. Chris Altieri says Schultz makes our offence click better, but we are still bad at defence. Missing Schmidt as an anchor for our defence. I think That's quite a fair assumption. And an article, on the website from Ben Royal this weekend, he sort of highlighted that Schmidt not coming back was a big factor.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, who would have thought that after Schmidt's first season? You know, that 2 seasons later we're saying that he was the anchor for our defence.
I do quite like Kudrock.
Yes, I must admit.
I think, you know, he's
growing, I think.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to grow anymore.
Not in height.
He'll hit his head on Panther Bear when he's coming out if he grows anymore.
Well, that's probably a good thing, to be honest.
Can he stick some razor blades to the top of his helmet then?
Oh, you beat me to it.
Does it come with a puncture? I'm thinking about it. Does it come with a puncture repair kit? Something like that.
Hey, Jono, you were at the darts a few weeks ago. Did you pick up any tips?
Yeah, I think
that'd be pretty bad to miss.
I think throwing darts onto the ice surface would see my season ticket relinquished rather quickly. One more tweet from JC, not Beyonce's husband, JC. I berated this team over the last few weeks, but give credit where it's due. This was a good weekend. Let's make some more. And I think we can all agree with that. Okay, some other Panthers news that came out today, and pictures of their new shirts that they will be wearing for the festive home games against Sheffield on the 27th and Coventry on New Year's Eve. They will be auctioned off for the charity Headstrong. They've received a mixed response, to say the least. I like them. I've got to say, I think they're different. They look quite fun. I think, yeah, fair enough. I've got no problem with them, but I think I'm in a minority of one amongst this panel when it comes to that. So, your guys, Taylor, you start. So, your thoughts on those shirts?
Oh, how wrong are you, Jono? How wrong are you? The jerseys themselves, yeah, fine. You know, well, I mean, they've got bugger all to do with Christmas, but whatever. But I think it's just nice that we've got a bit of fun and frivolity injected into the Panthers, because we don't see that very often. So I like the idea of them. Whether I actually like the jerseys, I think I'll be able to. I'll make a decision when I see them being played in. But yeah, I like the concept. I like a bit of fun.
Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my first view is that I don't really get that, you know, sort of bothered about shirts anyway. I'm not one of these people to go, oh my God, they're absolutely horrendous. And I don't really go, oh, they're really, really nice. I really like them. But I think it's a little bit what Tina says, you know, for many podcasts, many weeks, many months, many seasons, you know, the Panthers fan base are willing to criticise and have a pop at the organisation. And in the past, we've had people say, and ourselves included, going, well, why don't we do anything like this? We never do, you know, sort of. We obviously have our festive shirts, but we never kind of go outside of the box. So I think we need to kind of say, look, obviously the Warrior deal with the shirts has allowed us to do this. I think you have to give credit to the club to a certain degree and say that it's a bit of fun, like Tina says. It shows a bit more personality. I think it's a fantastic charity. I think that is a really, really fantastic message. And I hope they do raise a lot of money for that charity. All I hope for is that we go the whole hog and the shorts and the socks relate to the top. Because what I would hate is for us to just have a top. You know, let's go the whole hog and make a full outfit of it. Get us in, you know, newspapers and broadcast the Panthers even further afield than what we do generally. And look, it's a bit of fun and it's for charity, so I can't criticise it too much.
Okay, Paul.
I can't say anything in case I get fined. They're for charity. That's the positive thing. Oh, sorry, that's the positive. I don't know what with Panther Bear and looking like penguins. Is Gary trying to create some arc on the cheap by only having one of everything? I don't know. It's just I I mean, yeah, fair enough. Have a Christmas shirt. Do it for charity. That's brilliant. But they're not very Christmassy. In fact, we're going to look stupid playing hockey in them. Look at all these other things. Oh, the team are dressed as cowboy. The team look like they've got pyjamas on. Oh, we're dressed as our mascot. They're not clowns. Well, they're not supposed to be clowns. I mean, I get the idea. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. But if you want to make it a bit of fun, put a Christmas video. Oh, we've done a Christmas video. It was awful.
Yeah, no, rescind that
Stick to shirts, guys.
immediately.
Stick to shirts.
Well, apparently, I mean, Elaine's tweeted in again.
You're in the 21st century, man.
Oh dear! It must be the Panthers. It's taking me back. Oh dear! He says, "Fun and frivolity. Have you seen the Manchester Storm Christmas video? Brilliant." And I've not seen it yet, but I don't. Any of you seen the Manchester Storm Christmas video?
No,
I have. It's strangely camp in places.
From Neil Russell,
no further. But it's strangely camp.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Or a good thing.
Their GM is fond of tanning booths and scarves, so I think that says everything you need to know.
Moving on, we'll look at some of the other Elite League results and news. But first, a lot of criticism to the new ice hockey show that is on Frontrunner TV, the hour-long highlight show that was aired for the first time last Thursday. Dave Sims has responded to criticism of it by claiming that 247.tv, the production company who were behind the coverage on Premier Sports, butchered coverage of ice hockey. Now, as I've said before, I do work for 247 TV, so I am not going to comment, but I will leave it to you guys. So, do you think that's a fair comment, Aaron?
The bits you did weren't very good.
Well, I would say the 24/7 do employ you, so he's probably got 10% of that right. But low blow. Only joking, JB. Only joking. Look, I think it's all a bit tit for tat. Because Sims, let's be honest, he used to work for Sky Sports. He used to work for Televideo, who did the coverage before Premier Sports. And obviously, Televideo are involved in this package as well. So I think it's a little bit of, let's throw stones and stuff like that. I don't think it's great to put that out over social media. I mean, you'll know more than me, JB, but I'm not sure 24/7 will be that fussed about what Dave Sims has to say, to be honest. I imagine there's probably no love lost there. It's just all a little bit childish, and I think obviously we've had Aaron Murphy on our podcast about a month or so ago now, and he said that he wishes the Elite League well in what they find. So you would hope that one of the motor mouthpieces of the Elite League could show that kind of respect and just let the show get on with what it's gonna go on. So I just think it's a bit childish. Well, no, exactly. I mean, it's not. Should we be surprised that person has come out and said something of that level? No.
And that's the terrible thing. At the end of the day, what's wrong with a bit of a dignified silence? What's wrong with just going? Fair enough. It's school playground.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing things like that 30 odd years ago, nearer 40, frankly. So you should never judge everybody by your own standards. But I think if you get into anything like that, nobody comes out of it looking particularly good. But hey, if that's what he thinks, that's what he thinks. Let him get on with it.
Okay, Tina.
Yeah, I haven't seen it because I just genuinely haven't had the time. But Premier Sports coverage in the beginning wasn't all that, and it did actually build up to something that was quite enjoyable to watch. So there's nothing to say that the new show isn't going to do that. But it's like Paul says. I mean, what's the point? It's childish, and I I can't cover it any better than Paul and Aaron already have. But get over it.
You might as well just tweet it at 24/7. Nah, 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 nah. In a Brummie accent.
Yeah,
I tell you what. To be fair, though, folks, is that show at the moment is a highlight show that all the other teams film. All they do is put it together, put some graphics on, which there were mistakes on that graphic, spelling commentary wrong, and there's a voiceover over it. That's not really, high-end TV production, is it? Let's be honest. So it's a little bit early to start going, oh, you butchered ice hockey coverage, when really they're not even offering a live game once a month. So it's a little bit, like everybody's said, it's just a little bit childish, maybe, is the best word.
I think the main thing...
Let's stop giving them the oxygen of publicity and move on.
Well, I think the main thing for me about the actual coverage is it's in standard definition, which doesn't help. I think if it was in HD, it'd be better, because most of the club's highlights are in HD, but because it's a standard definition channel, I think that doesn't help the coverage at all.
But just to interject on that, Premier Sports was never in HD on Virgin.
True.
Virgin didn't offer it in HD, so you never got it. You never got, you still don't. You still don't get ice hockey in HD on Premier Sports.
But regardless of all that, the biggest problem is that all they're doing is cobbling together stuff that you can, the stuff that will go out. Was it Wednesday, Thursday this week that we can already watch?
Yeah,
it's like selling Monday's papers on a Friday.
Yeah. Okay. We'll look at some of the results from across the weekend, and the Devils bounced back from their 8-0 mauling by the Panthers with a 3-2 penalty shot victory against the Steelers on Sunday night. That sees Devils 10 points clear at the top of the league, with Belfast moving into second after a 4-point weekend with victories against the Sheffield Steelers on Saturday night and then against the Manchester Storm on Sunday, which sees Sheffield now drop into third place. I mean, that quite surprised me. I think it shows a lot of character by the Devils to come back after that 8-0 game to then beat who were at that point their closest rivals in the league, and also the Giants seem to be making a bit of a resurgence of late. Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by that, to be honest. I've not really looked at the table for a while, but on the performances that I've seen of the Giants, in the NIC, I would have had them down in the same sort of places as us. But like we kind of maybe said, and I think I saw Paddy, from Paddy Smith from a View from the Bridge said something like, there's still issues with this team, but they got the job done like we did this weekend. So, yeah, I was surprised they're up into second, because I don't think they're a fantastic hockey roster this season personally, but I can only go on the couple of performances that I've seen at the NIC, like I say. But, yeah, surprising, and a bit of a blow for obviously Sheffield, losing that penalty shootout to the Devils. But they have got,
especially when they obviously had a goal that was obviously disallowed, that they're obviously not going to talk about on Twitter, and obviously won't get fined for.
Well, that's already Colin Bassford has tweeted. It says, why is Sims criticising the official about the disallowed goal, and more to the point, will he get away with it? Well, with these new tariffs, he shouldn't. But But it has been a bit of a bleat fest on Twitter today about this disallowed goal. It's like, oh, yeah, because they've never benefited from decisions that's gone their way. Just shut up. Just shut up moaning and just get on with it. Suck it up, live with it. And if you've got a problem, talk to your boss, because he's the chairman of the league, and get him to implement goal line technology if it's that much of a problem.
Well, what they can do, they can use the money that they'll get for fining Sheffield to buy them some goal line technology.
Problem solved.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Although there has been tweets come out this evening, because goal line technology is actually in place in Cardiff, and they do have it running even though they can't use it. And apparently the goal line technology showed that the puck did not cross the line, allegedly. So...
But who's told you that? Somebody from Cardiff?
Well, somebody from Cardiff has tweeted it, which is why I said allegedly.
Some woman.
Yeah, it was some woman, actually. Oh dear.
Apparently, some bloke this time round for this goal.
It was
some bloke went off to the penalty benches to talk to Mike Hicks about it. But yeah, whatever.
It could have been worse. It could have been that goal judge they used to have in Hull.
Who's that guy?
The one who used to get upset when they lost.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, blimey. Yeah. Anyway, a 4-point weekend for the Braehead clan with a 4-3 victory against Dundee on Sunday, which followed up a 3-2 victory against the Edinburgh Capitals on Saturday. So a 4-point weekend for them takes some pressure off Ryan Finnerty and sees them move up into 5th place. So Tina, I think they'll have wanted that, and with the Challenge Cup to come on Wednesday, both teams are going to go into that with a bit of confidence.
Well, I think they're going to go into it with a lot more confidence than last week. I listened to last week's Purple Army podcast, and Ross actually said, "You know what's going to happen when the Panthers come up here. We're going to draw," because it sort of felt like the battle of Neil Black's two underperforming teams. It's like who can be the least useless, and now we got the draw, and we've both had 4-point weekends, and so there's a bit of possibly a bit of a resurgence from both sides. So it sort of sets it up well for a very interesting game at the NIC on Wednesday. But yeah, I think the guys at Purple Army podcast, their podcasts have been following us, a similar sort of vein to ours. It's just been all doom and gloom for a while, and we've all got some good games to talk about now.
The Five Flyers struggled this weekend. A 2-0 loss to the Manchester Storm on Saturday, and then a 6-3 loss to the Edinburgh Capitals on Sunday. And Aaron, after such a promising start, the wheels seem to be coming off Five's wagon at the minute.
Yeah, slightly, and obviously to be shut out, and then I believe they were leading against the Caps as well, and the Caps obviously came back and really took the game away from the Flyers. I think, like a lot of teams, I think they're just struggling to find that consistency, and momentum really is key, isn't it? Because if you can string together, 4, 6, 8 points, then the way the league table is at the moment, and the conference tables as well, it can really make that difference. So I think people and coaches will be looking and saying we need to find some consistency here, because if we do, then it will be a turn up and in our fortunes, and we can move on and really push into the Christmas period. And I think coming up to the Christmas period and the New Year period, there's a hell of a lot of games and there's a hell of a lot of points to be won. But that also means that obviously there's a hell of a lot of points to lose as well. So I think you're really going to see some interesting ties and some close ties coming up over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks.
And finally, Blaze with a 4-1 victory over the Dundee Stars on Saturday, which meant Stars had a 0-point weekend, but Blaze now 7 points out of the last 8 available. So they still got a point in the penalty shootout loss to us on Sunday. And Paul, Blaze are starting to look something like after struggling recently.
They certainly look better than last time. Last time we saw them, they'd got a bit more cohesion about them. But yeah. 7 points out of 8, you can't knock that, can you?
Not at all. Okay, we're going to finish on by having a look ahead to Wednesday night, where Panthers take on the Braehead clan in the Challenge Cup quarter-final second leg. As we've already mentioned, the scores are level at 3-3 after the draw in Braehead last Thursday, so it is a winner-takes-all game. Slate's wiped clean, it's effectively 0-0. So, Tina, how do you see this one going?
Well, I think we have a better record against them down here, but I don't know. I mean, they, as I said, they've equally got some confidence from their 4-point weekends. So that could give them just the boost that they need. It's possible. it's possible that we're going out, and yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one. I mean, if we'd lost a game or they'd lost a game at the weekend, it could have been a bit more, a bit more easy to really sort of pinpoint where it was going. But I think our fortunes have been, kind of similar. I mean, obviously, they sort of sit a bit below us in the table, and so they've kind of had it a little bit worse. But I don't know. I really genuinely have absolutely no idea which way to call it.
Okay. Of course, if Panthers get through, or indeed if Braehead get through, Sheffield Steelers await in the semi-final. I mean, Paul, our record against Sheffield this season is pretty poor to say the least. So, if we get through, it's not going to be an easy task to get to that final in Cardiff.
That's what we thought last year.
True.
I was going to say, yeah.
You can say almost everything you've just said about what we said last year.
Yeah.
Can we request that we actually play them at Ice Sheffield if we get through? Is that allowed? Because I'd go. I would genuinely go.
Right. It depends how much we upset them, so they have to go out and start making up strange Machiavellian ways, going to 37 Arkwright Street between the hours of 4 and 5 when there's a full moon and giving the secret knock. So that you can be admitted and be sold a ticket handcrafted by Tony Smith himself, on the promise that you don't sell it to one of those nasty, terrible, awful Nottingham Panthers fans.
Don't
mention it on Twitter, obviously.
It's going to be like finding a golden ticket. So it'd be like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
Yeah, a bit like Willy Wonka.
I remember that night very well, and I'll not forget that.
What, with Willy Wonka?
No, I Sheffield. It's similar.
God, I don't need to explain it.
So, Aaron, Panthers against Braehead. Do you see it as a close game? Do you think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other?
No, I think it will go to OT, to be honest. I think, obviously, with them travelling down, I imagine they'll be travelling down on the Wednesday. You just never know, do you, with long travel? I believe, that obviously our players might be having an extra day off, which would then potentially mean that they would skate on Wednesday. Don't know, will that mean that we come out of the blocks a little bit slow? I don't actually see it being a blowout or a high-scoring game, to be honest. I think the Challenge Cup is an important trophy for both organisations. It's a chance of a trophy. I think it'll go to OT, and then it's flip a coin in that, really. But I'll stick my neck out and I'll say that we will skate through and to victory.
Fair enough, and I think we will leave it there for this evening. Because of the game on Wednesday night, there will be no Ask TCW podcast this week, so we will be back on Thursday. So I'd just like to say...
well, nobody's going, so we could do one anyway.
I'm going.
Apparently, anyway.
I'm going.
We can manage without you, we have done before.
True.
When?
Well, there was the 3 years before you turned up, Tina, for a start.
Right. Anyway, on that note, I think we will leave it there. So I will say thank you very much to Aaron Lord,
TTFN,
Tina Taylor,
bye,
and a fond farewell to Mr. Paul Balm.
I don't know which one to choose now. I'll just go for a bye.
Thank you very much to you for listening. As we say, we'll be back on Thursday live at 8:45 p.m. with a look ahead to next weekend's games against the Belfast Giants and the Cardiff Devils. But until then, have a great week and thank you very much for listening.